Why the hell should them in Parliament say you must fasten up and drive?
It's costing the National Health so much money to repair these people that go through windscreens. But I've seen people in hospital, and I wouldn't like my wife to go through. She'd never come out no more.
I've been all over the place where I have never ever seen you clip your seatbelt on yet.
I'm going to do.
Now, because it's law.
No doubt in the end, Ted, Jack and Harvey will belt up. But here at Alex Smith's home, it's a quiet Sunday evening in front of the telly.
The Oppermans, Part 1, tomorrow at 9:10 and Monday at 9 o'clock on BBC Two. Now the news on 2 with Jan Leeming.
Government departments are planning a large-scale advertising campaign to combat the appeal of the campaign for nuclear disarmament. It could cost up to £1 million.
I'm in favour of the government spending £1 million if they've gone into it and they consider it necessary. Because I can only cast my mind back to the middle 30s when we had PAX movements in all the universities and trades unions. And look what happened. We weren't ready in 1938-39 for Hitler. But I think it would cost far more than £1 million if the nuclear disarmers proliferate and we've got to spend money on policing and law and order to counteract it. I suspect that there are some rent-a-mob people amongst them, but I think most of them are sincere in what they believe. What to do against them, I should just apply the normal rules for law and order, keep them in check.
Russia still has them. America still has them. We're in the middle. Are they so stupid as to think that they would fly over us from one to the other and ignore us? They wouldn't, would they? We'd be in the middle.
The aftermath of a nuclear war would be impossible to describe. You'd end up, everything would be finished, but you'd still have one or two infantrymen crawling around occupying land, which is the object of any army. The object of any army is not to fight, but to occupy land. With the world Holocaust, somebody might consider it necessary to do away with Britain to save the rest of Europe. Suppose the whole of Europe was being gambled by the loss of Britain. Well, some allies would sacrifice Britain. I wouldn't be surprised if our people haven't something aimed at the American cities. It's one of the principles of war, which is terrible.
I don't think we should have any war at all, not just nuclear. It doesn't matter whether it's nuclear or any war at all. There's no need for it.
Depends on government whether they listen to us. So it all depends on government whether they want to listen to us or not. We can't do anything about it. They can. But nobody's going to disarm, are they? Nobody. One won't disarm because the rest won't, they believe. We just want power and power, it's simple as that.
She's too set in her ways and she's saying, well, what I believe is right. And she's imposing her views on the country, not the views of the country. It's her views, nobody else's. I mean, how many other people agree with her? Even politicians don't agree with her. Other politicians in her party. Party, that's what it is as well. It's just a party, just a big laugh. They have a good giggle at us lot. I think you look at them closets.
As soon as they get that bloody 4-minute warning, as soon as we hear about it, we'll just send ours back. We'll just send ours towards them. An easy program. All they have to do is put a bloody key and turn it, press a button, and it's off. Got millions of lives gone like that. The thing that I'm bothered about is really, I'm not bothered about that. I'm bothered about myself, but why other people die? You know, lots of other people just venture into new things. Stupid.
Well, don't mind me as long as I don't use it here, you know.
What we want to do, we want to join up, like, we want to get an agreement going with each country. Each country, like, you know, an agreement, like, I think you should destroy nuclear weapons for good. Everything, it's for good, all the time. So, no one will die, like, you know. Just want to get all countries joined together, like, peace, friends, like, you know. People killing each other, civilised human beings. Bloody hell.
I know where I'm going, I have stockings of silk, shoes of fine green leather, combs to buckle me hair, and a ring for every finger.
I don't think the CND threat is all that serious. At the same time, we do have forces in operation which would seek to undermine the nuclear deterrent, which after all is the status quo. These hysterical females at Greenham Common, obviously very well meant but misguided. We forfeited the option of having a conventional deterrent. That's gone through successive governments running down defence for whatever reasons, which we all know anyway. But that option is now gone. And in Central Europe, if we withdraw our nuclear theatre defence from Central Europe, then who can blame the Germans for rising again and having their own? And I don't think even the Germans would want that to happen. Certainly we shouldn't.
The West German military set the tune for Mr. Bush's visit. At issue is the unity of the Western Alliance. He's come both to seek assurance.
No, Emma. Emma.
To tell the Allies there'll be no
I said no.
conflicting signals in Washington.
For David Neild, it's a typical evening. The kids, telly, and another committee meeting for Juliet.
The Americans and the Russians have resumed their talks in Geneva on reducing the number of long-range nuclear weapons. They've been called START, short for Strategic Arms Reduction Talks. Like those other Geneva talks.
No.
Come here, pal.
What sort of a day have you had?
Was welcomed by the head of the Soviet delegation, Viktor Karpov. Neither had much to say, although the
Right, come on, Emma Lucy.
missile numbers could be achieved if both governments were serious.
No, so we've got to do a reading.
Much the same thought came from the American Vice President George Bush on the second leg of his European tour. He said the United States preferred the zero option, no medium-range nuclear weapons in Europe on either side. But if the Soviets have another plan, he said, we'll give it serious consideration. Within hours, Mr. Bush was off to his next stop, Belgium. From there...
Good night.
The American party arrived here after scattering persuasive arguments.
I watch the news when the kids aren't screaming, but I don't read a daily paper. I don't have time. I think it's more important to get on with my own day-to-day living than to find out what's happening in the great wide world.
The hostile face that East Berlin presented to Mr. Bush as he gazed into it from the Potsdamer Platz in the British sector didn't seem to depress him unduly, any more than the sceptical response his offer of a summit between Mr. Reagan and Mr. Andropov has. And although it's still effectively tied to the zero option, he insists the offer's genuine.
I do not like a bloody tip.
The President is unwilling to meet with Mr. Andropov.
Zoe, Emma's in bed.
Extends the hand.
Right, I'm going
This
then.
reaches
Okay.
out. This
See
let's
you
get
later.
serious negotiation so
Bye.
we can have a meeting to ban an entire...
Where's my tea, man?
I think I'll bring my microwave about microwave.
It's just that clear.
As a mother, I don't like to think that there's any sort of nuclear threat to my children. But I think that we have no option but to arm ourselves as a deterrent. I don't think that the government would be so stupid, and of course it is government policy, that they would never be the first to act. But I tend to think of being disarmed as walking along a motorway without a car.
Mary Allen has been the mayoress of Blackburn. Married to Rendell, the jogging jeweller, her town hall knowledge leaves her unpacified.
I'm not fully conversant with all the things about cruise missiles. I watch on television a lot, I read about it. It sounds terrifying if you stop to think that if there's any war at all, that'll be it, we'll all be over. There's little you can say about it. I hope that this meeting comes between the American president and the Russian. Then we might get somewhere. But, it's frightening to think. I think if you study in depth about things like cruise missiles and nuclear weapons, I haven't thought too deeply about it because it's so frightening. Well, I remember Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That still has legacies of what happened there. So, with the where science has progressed, what weapons we have now must be terrifying. I've read a few books on it. I've read a few papers. I've watched television. To somebody like me, I don't feel in a position to judge. The only thing is, I think it's very frightening.
If I and Barnway, I were in Royal Navy and Merchant Navy in the last war, I'd boot the Americans out of this country and go like Switzerland was in the last war and go neutral. Why should we where's all these bloody shelters going? They know they're going to press the button sooner or later. We have no shelters.
I think that we should have more than Russians. Not equal, more than Russians.
Well, where are you going to get money from?
They seem to find it every time they want to do something. They always seem to find it, Jack. They always...
God enough.
This country can't afford it.
We've got them and we've paid for them, so we might as well keep them. It's no good saying we'll give them up, like Mr. Foot. It's no good giving them up. We've got them, we've paid for them, we might as well keep them. I'm saying we don't need to spend any more.
I keep telling you that. We're being used by America.
What Germans being used? They're all evident because we've signed a pact, haven't we? We've signed a pact, everybody signs, and we say, right, we will do everything in our power to stop the Russians advancing anywhere in Europe. And it's called NATO, isn't it? Everybody signs, and we're all supposed to abide by the rules. So, keep Russians out. Germany has some, France has some, we have some. Creates a circle. Russians make a move.
Don't need one on here. And where will we be?
The only way I can ever see a nuclear war happen is when one country, and I say a big one, either Yanks or Russians, run out of oil or something like that.
What's bloody oil got to do with it?
Because this is what I'm saying, there'll not be a war at all until some big country runs out of something. We could sit here all day talking. We won't make any difference. The only people will change it is politicians. So they say, the only way you can change anything is cast your vote. Now, whatever we cast as voted, Darren, it comes out Fletcher coat. So, Fletcher's part of government, so we'll never make any difference no matter what we do. We're spouting it here or wherever.
We've done nothing, the fellas. But them women at Gresham Common, they're trying to do something about it.
Won't make any difference whether they'll go to jail, they'll come out of jail, they'll go back in jail. It won't make the slightest difference. It's the politicians who will sort it out.
They should all be around a bloody frying pan.
They should be cooking tea for their husbands. They're wasting their time and energy.
Nobody ever thought Emmeline Pankhurst would make any difference.
I'll tell you
But
what,
she got a vote for the women, didn't she?
It doesn't mean they're right because they're women. Women's place is behind the gas cooker.
Situation.
We're trying to give you an idea of how it would be, really. You can't run away from it and pretend that this can't happen real because it looks quite different.
And that if they really wanted to do something, the women of Greenham Common, the best thing they could do is to go to the Russian embassy and protest there. Because we have the right to protest in this country, and unfortunately Russia does not have that right. If people protested in Russia, they'd be thrown in jail. And in this country, they're not thrown in jail to the same extent.
I was born a great big woman, and I can't see that it can do any good. How can it do any good just standing there? Who's going to take any notice? Probably some of them are communists and maybe being paid by the communists. But I think quite a lot of them are just ordinary women. Most of them quite well educated. And I think a woman in that position should have more sense than leaving a home and family to go and do a thing like that. They are trying to influence people's emotions, really. It is emotional blackmail for the rest of the country. And surely they don't think that just because we don't have the weapons, they would leave us alone. It just isn't common sense.
Where the ladies of Greenham and getting their money from in the first place, they must be getting their money to live there, away from their husbands. I presume they've left their children at home, well protected, well tended by their husbands. Now, are their husbands honestly going out to work and leaving their children, especially young children, because they're young women there with little children they've left at home? What is happening to the little children? Are they in homes of their husbands, off work, resigned jobs, to look after these little children? They're living on social security benefits. The ladies of Greenham Common are also living on social security benefits. They're being funded by our government.
They must believe that it's right what they're doing, but then again, other people are saying, well, if they think it's right and they're doing it for their families, why have they left the families?
Well, they haven't actually left the families, have they? They haven't just abandoned them, have they? They've left them with their husbands, haven't they? Or relatives, haven't they? And if you believe in something, a good cause like that, you'll fight for it, won't you? This is it, we don't get a say in it. The Americans can just come in and just bring their launching pads in here and we just can't have a say in it.
Do you think we could get things changed? No. This is where you get your people that protest, isn't it? Because it's not good 1 or 2 people going at a time. This is where you get. Do you think you can get other people to see it the way that you do? Well, there'll be lots of people that do feel the same way, you know, on any subject. It's getting together, to band it together and going to do it.
It's like those women. I mean, we can't all do it.
No.
If you believe in it, like those women, they go and do it. Yeah. But we can't all do it because some of us think there's other priorities, you see. Yeah. And we're split really down the middle, aren't we? We like to go and do it, like to go and protest, but yet we have things at home that need looking after.
Yeah, but they believe, obviously those women believe in everything. That is everything to them.
Definitely.
You know, and they have no other priorities, have they? They want to get it sorted out.
Yeah, they've done something about it. We're dithering about it, thinking we'd like to do about it.
As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't interest me as such. Maybe when it all starts happening, then I might sit back and think, well, perhaps I should have been with them, campaigning right from the beginning. But this is what happens with the majority of people. Wait till it all starts happening, and then
it's too late. That's what I say. You're not interested, but you're really interested in it, Florence. You must be interested in it. It's your children's future.
I'm not saying interested in it. I just haven't thought about it, which is a lot of people.
It's stupid, really, isn't it? Not going to be much future, is there?
No, not really, but, you know...
Well, I wouldn't be prepared to bring children up, no, because there's no future, really, is there? Where's the time getting married and having kids?
That's true.
How would you stop it from going off? What would you do?
Well, we couldn't stop it from going off.
Well, how would you protest? Would you join Greenham Common ladies?
Yeah, I would if I was in a different position. If they asked me to join, I would join. If you feel bad enough about it, that's what women are trying to do now.
Would you do what them women are doing, standing outside them gates for weeks on end?
If they come and approach me and I wasn't the person that I am who has to go to work, I would do. But if my husband if he were working, I would probably go do it. But I have to keep you lot. And now it's up to you lot to look after us, really, isn't it? You're the ones that have to protest now.
Would it make any difference about joining, no? Because it won't really do it, will it, really?
Well...
They're not going to... Just us lot joining, it's not going to stop them from sending a missile across, is it?
The stock argument that comes up, you see, if everybody used that argument that you're using, if I do anything about it, it won't make any difference. We know with one person it doesn't make a lot of difference. But the whole thing's got to be done collectively. You've got to get in the organisations.
No, but it depends whether everybody's going to come out or not.
Well, all right, you've got to get in the organisations that are already protesting. All right, the future belongs to people of your generation.
Oh, no, they're not going to take any notice of us, though, are they, really? Because they're going to think we've not got any sense. Because you're older, they're going to think you've got more sense than us.
Yeah, well, all right, but it's a good argument. Yeah, it's a good argument. But the point is this, you've got to realise that sooner or later you've got to be in a situation where you're going to make people listen. And as you get older, you'll find out that you've got to be involved in it, because if you don't, you're going to be in a situation where you won't have any future. There won't be any future for you at all.
You've got to more or less get out on the streets, haven't you?
The Young Conservatives meet at the Whitehall.
In a word, we need the bomb to preserve peace, which sounds ironic but is nonetheless true. We need the bomb to preserve the deterrent.
I think everybody wants to see a reduction in the number of bombs, but the reduction has to start in the right place, and the right place is Russia at the moment.
Michael Foot, as usual, it's quite as one would expect from him. He's living in cloud cuckoo land if he thinks that by unilaterally disarming a sweeping moral gesture like that, the Russians are going to follow suit. It's rubbish, and people recognise it as being rubbish. It makes a nonsense of human nature.
See, everybody takes this government campaign, or this proposed campaign, as an anti-CND campaign. I think what it is really is a pro-Britain campaign, and it's going to show that the CND is not there purely for peace motives.
I think what you've got to realise, as far as that goes, is that much as the CND get very upset when you say it, a large number of their membership is filled with communists and the various traits of communists that go with that. And the aims of world peace are not what the CND is all about. It would not surprise me in the slightest if the order had not gone out to the CND that they are the people who have got to fight the next election to ensure a Labour government, and they would like nothing better, those people, than to see a defenceless Britain.
We tried disarming before the Second World War and it just didn't work. Winston Churchill, luckily, being a great leader like he was, brought us out of it successfully.
I get very annoyed when we're accused all the time of being warmongers. I mean, Roger brought this out. We are not warmongers.
If the majority of people in this country want crews come the next general election, they will vote for or against crews.
She can put one in my back garden any time she wants.
I think the politicians today are there for just themselves. And that's why I think they call her the Iron Lady. She won't let them get above her. Like she won't let her ministers get above her, because if they get above her, it's out with the boot. And that's what we don't want. We want peace. And she wants to lay down the guns and put the Union Jack up, and we are peaceful people. And people with children like myself, I mean, they have to go on and use when we're not here, haven't they? And they want to live in peace. So let us show a good example of British people and the British government, whoever it may be. Hello, love. Have you gone on at school? All right. Yeah. Is it cold out? Take your coat off.
End of everything as we know it.
What can you do, like, in 4 minutes? You can't name.
I wouldn't like to live after the nuclear war. I mean, what's the point? There'll be nothing there.
Well, you'd only become infected with the radiation and everything eventually, wouldn't you? With no fresh water, no food.
But we're an island. We should be a neutral state, rather as like Sweden and Switzerland are. I don't really believe that we need a nuclear capability, because we don't ourselves, we don't pose any threat to anyone, and there's nobody that really is a threat to us. It's just the cruise missiles, which puts us, right in the firing line.
If these marches do continue and more people agree with them and start going on marches and more leaflets are given out and everything, I think in the end, it'll take quite a number of years, but by which time all these bases and everything, and Maggie has already decided, new governments have come in, it'd be too late then, in a sense.
Well, I think what they'll do with CND marches is they'll definitely try and ban them if it gets out of hand. And they'll start doing underground cover, like, passing leaflets out like they did in Poland. They're just going to start arresting people and chucking them in prison. Like they did in Poland. It's just going to get worse and worse.
If there was a referendum taken on whether or not, we want nuclear weapons in this country, the vast majority of the people are so terrified of nuclear weapons that there would be an overwhelming no to any more nuclear weapons in this country.
But if the vote actually did say, the people won the vote and said, no, we don't want them, would they actually go ahead? Or else would they go back on their word and say, well, you've got it now and sod you?
Well, if Margaret Thatcher wants nuclear weapons in this country, she'll have them, no matter whether there's an election coming up or not. If she wants them, she'll have them.
There's people in the street that think she's doing a good job, but it's the people with money and the people without worries.
If the referendum had been taken, say,
2.5 years ago, even though everyone was against it, 100% against it, she'll still do whatever she wants to do.
India Mill is one of the few producing in Darwen. Working here on the early shift is Akhtar Shigri. In order to care properly for their children, she and husband Ashfaq work alternate shifts.
They're spending all this money for advertising and utilizing taxpayer money for, these nuclear weapons when they know there is a big war going on inside country at the moment, which is a war of unemployment. And they're not taking no notice of that war, and they're thinking about the future war. Now the government realize, that CND is working now, and a lot of people, they're changing their minds towards a nuclear war and nuclear weapons. So that's why they're getting a bit worried, and that's the reason they're thinking about spending £1 million just for advertising and trying to change people's mind again, Well, I think which will be a big job. It wouldn't be very easy to change people's mind, because I think it's a majority of them, they don't want nuclear weapons now. Look at all these women, on Greenham Commons, they're protesting against this thing from day and night, they're just living in such a hazardous conditions outside in the rain and snow and protesting against something. And I don't think government is taking any notice of them poor girls. Instead of just taking notice, they take them to court. I think, personally, that more and more people, they're going against nuclear weapons because they know eventually if the war starts, that wouldn't do any good. The result of that war, we already know about it, we all know what happened in Japan. It wouldn't do any good to any country. They must try to reduce. I'm not talking about only Great Britain. I'm talking about Americans and Russians and all these big powers. They must try to reduce, the number of all these dangerous nuclear weapons they're producing every day. They're not thinking what's going to happen once the nuclear war starts, and that'll be it. I think myself, all politicians, I'm not only talking about Conservative Party, I'm talking about Liberals, I'm talking about SDP, Labours, every party. And I think that most of these politicians have lost their touch with the ordinary public. They don't want to listen to them.
Well, I should say all the people outside won't survive at all. But all the politicians, I should imagine, they'll have the shelters built now, ready. I mean, people like myself and all the other people, working class people, I don't think they'll survive anything at all. You'll not be able to get in. But I bet Margaret Thatcher and all the government and all the people in the top rank, they'll all have the shelters now ready to get in. But there'll be nothing for the people. Nothing for the people at all.